Hello, a very good evening to everybody. Quite a loaded day, so we would try to keep it a bit light, right? Because I think too much information since morning, everybody is, of you is gathering. So we'll try to keep it a bit light. So, uh, in the modern era, I feel the real battlefield where organizations are winning over their competition is customer experience. Uh, I was speaking to somebody the other day, and they said even if you have the last time machine fully functional with you, and you try to sell it with a frown on your face, chances are it's going to be hard to get it off the shelf. So that's how important customer experience is. Uh, in today's world, consumer behavior is changing very rapidly. Everybody is looking for uh, cheaper, faster, hyper personalized, tailor made products, goods, services, and at a scale with ever increasing consumer base. So it becomes imperative that AI plays a very integral role in this in order to give the right kind of delight in the customer experience. And this doesn't happen without human touch, human empathy, because that is something that the consumers are not willing to let go of. That interaction is also very necessary. We did a survey, uh, at PwC with consumers, where 44% of them came back with, I am happy to do self-service, to interact with AI, do my own checkouts on the lane in the supermarket, as long as there is somebody there as a backup, so that when things start going south, somebody can quickly intervene and take care of those things. So that's the kind of uh, combination between AI and human element that people are looking for, and that's what we are going to discuss today in our today's uh, topic that we have. Future of AI, where we can harmonize AI efficiency along with human understanding. So, with that, thank you so much, all of you, for joining. I would just throw out first question, and it's a generic one, to both of you. Uh, do let us know how AI is creating that kind of a delight for the customers in your respective organizations seamlessly, with minimal, human interventions. Give us some of those examples. We can start with you, Kalyani.
Um, so may I start with this? May you please pick up the mic? I would like to ask you a few questions. Am I right in saying that your wife celebrated? Okay, a woman never gives her birth date, so I'm not going to call out the number. Am I right in saying that your wife celebrated her very, very critical milestone birthday this year in the month of March?
That's correct. Yes.
And she also celebrated with a little something from my company, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the way I would like to start this conversation. A tiny story. A friend of mine. Okay, so just to give you guys a brief, he came in after the lunch, and we directly met when other sessions were happening. So we've not interacted until I think about 5-10 minutes ago for this, right? So that's AI for you. Sitting here, sitting in the panel, getting to know the panelists only about 5-10 minutes before we started this entire go through is where I think technology has come from. And just a small tale to tell you. I wanted to travel to Ahmedabad, and I was meeting my friend from my college who had just given birth to a baby boy. And I wanted to pick up something for a gift. And I kind of did not want it to be impersonal because, well, it's a friend and it's the first baby in the friend circle. So I contacted Carrot Lane on their chatbot, and Carrot Lane is one of our sister concerns. So I contacted them on the chatbot and I told them, I'm looking for this product and it can be inscribed with the name. Is there any store that can give it to me? The chatbot replies to me, Kalyani ma'am, happy birthday. I see that your birthday is coming up. You have a wonderful choice. Let me see which store can have this for you. And I was stumped, and I think I'm still stumped. So that's where I think there was not much of a human interaction. But I'm going to stitch it to another story wherein a colleague of mine came with me, and I do this little stunt in my company called as Mystery Shop myself to get to know what my customers are seeing from my stores. So when we went in, and she was engrossed in the buying process, and she was trying to buy, the sales girl right outside, like opposite her, and she said, "Ma'am, is there any special occasion that you have in the near future or in the near past?" And she says, "No, no, nothing. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries." And 5 minutes later, the store manager walks in with a greeting card and a cake and said, "Ma'am, your anniversary was last week." Mind you, my colleague had forgotten that her anniversary was last week. Had I opened my mouth to her husband today, it would be a very different story. But that's where we are. So I think that gives you an example of how beautiful AI has enabled us to create little moments of wow, starting from Mr. Ankush and Mrs. Ujala to all the way up to our customers who are at our brand. So over to you.
Okay, that was an excellent introduction for sure, uh, and I'll try my best. So, I come from a healthcare industry, and I will give you a very different perspective. Of course, it is similar from my experience perspective, but in healthcare, customer is a patient or probable patient, and that means any individual goes through 4 cycles in healthcare industry. First is prevention, second is diagnosis, third is intervention, and fourth is recovery. Prevention is key. So what AI has done is, as you know, or some of you will probably know, there are advanced AI startups which are working on significantly reducing biological age. Whatever age I am, I think I would love to be 30, which I'm not. But essentially, significant reduction of age, or significant reduction in the, or delay, significant delay in aging. That is something that is happening as we speak. People are trying it and being successful. Minimum 15, 20 years of age is being stopped from a biological perspective, right? So what kind of experience will you have if that happens? Think of that, right? Secondly, let's say it is about diagnosis. So in case of diagnosis, you have to visit a healthcare facility, and what will you need there as experience? You want to get out of there as fast as possible. A diagnostic clinic, you want to do an MR or whatever you want to do, or you want to really get a feel where your mental anxiety is gone. You don't want to be anxious when you are inside a MR machine. So what is happening with AI is, one, of course, your MR has significantly speeded up. Now it is done in 30% of the time that was 2 years back, whatever the speed was. And from a mental calmness perspective, I do not know if that's possible here, but there's something called ambient experience. That means when you are inside, you are actually listening to your favorite song based on your, whatever Insta or whatever you use, and you have heard of the last song. That song plays so that you are mentally much more calm. So that is what diagnosis, where AI is making large strides. And I don't even want to talk about what is happening in the space of intervention, which is nothing but operation. You are aware of everything that is there related to image guided therapy, where it is completely non-invasive. You don't want yourself to be cut. And significantly it is getting reduced as we speak. Of course, it's a harder part if it is a bigger problem. But carcinoma is also really getting targeted, and we are able to do it via faster image processing, which is possible only because of AI, as well as all the cells that you have next to the place where you have sarcoma, whether that is getting impacted or not on a real time basis. You can actually, it is being done as we speak. So limitless great customer experience from patient perspective. That is what I have to share.
Thank you, Kalyani. Thank you, Saswat. And really interesting examples that you gave. How omnichannel recognizes you no matter where you are and tries to figure out some way to give you that delight. And of course, who doesn't want to be reduced by 20 years or so? So, so coming to that, Ankush, my question for you is that uh, you are in the business of creating human-centric Gen AI products, right? Just want to understand, request you to throw some light how you're doing it, what's the work in progress, and I understand not many players are thinking in this line, where it is human-centric. Considering you are one of the leading ones, request you to shed some light on that.
Thank you, Rajat. First of all, thank you, Kalyani. I'll ask you later, how did you come to know what AI model you have used? But anyways, thanks, Rajat. I think you have noticed it right. The human-centric now, yes, everyone now is trying to use human-centric word, and I think Gartner also has started using human-centric in their hype chart, and I think it's next probably 5 to 10 years. But we have been using human-centric conversational AI platform last 4 to 5 years ago. But again, let me give you one more statistics from Gartner. Gen AI use cases. I was in one of the conferences with Gartner where they mentioned the use cases where the CIOs, the CXOs are trying to use Gen AI. The top one was customer experience. I think you picked up the right topic. Customer experience is the top use case. It's not increasing revenue or reducing cost. It's top. And I think if I remember the percentage, it was around 38% CXOs are using Gen AI to improve customer experience, eventually the retention. Then it comes increasing revenue, then reducing costs, and then business continuity. And around 12% was none of the above, where everyone wants to use Gen AI, but not sure where to use. And yes, we have been working in this space for the last 7 years. And our focus is to let everyone, literally everyone, use the existing technology the way they talk to other person. So now I think we all are privileged people. It's very easy for us to use tech, right? So it's easy because it's easy for us because we have already accustomed to the usage of the technology in a certain way. But that's not the natural way, right? If the technology had been so simple, we would have got the adoption of any simplest technology products India-wide, let me not say worldwide, right? I think UPI is the most easiest product, tech product. I'm sure all would agree here. But still see the adoption, I think maybe 400 million users, around 40 crore users. So I think technology is definitely is the best thing which can actually empower a citizen, society, and the nation, because we leverage a lot of benefits with technology. Let not go into the details. I'm sure we know, but what we're trying to solve is any existing technology, whether it's about healthcare management systems or e-commerce systems or banking system or any utility system. So everyone should be able to access it. All systems should talk. Whether it's a factory, which we have seen in the previous session, the factory should talk, machines should talk, and even the software product should talk. With Bharat GPT, we are making those products, existing products, conversational, so that everyone can just use it by just speaking in their own language, in their own format, any device they carry. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ankush. So we understand, AI is important and how it is evolving as well, right? Uh, Kalani, could you throw some light on what should be the right strategy for an organization to bring in AI, along with human efforts as well, in the just right proportion in order to make it really successful and seamless and very meaningful for the customers, right? What is the I would say right recipe for it, if you can enlighten us on that?
Okay. So I don't think one size fits all, but I'll try my best to get this right. So I think I'll go back to the basics, or probably to back to my B school. We started B school with something called as need gap analysis. So I think the mother of all questions lies there. So when it comes to customer experience, when it comes to any service, when it comes to any solution, let's first look at the need gap and let's look at simplification. So, to give you an instance of how Titan operates in all its ways and methodologies and methods, is we try to bring in structure in an unstructured space. So, which is again going back to need gap, which is again going back to simplifying certain ways of operations and modes without disregarding any kind of feature. So, there's no disregard for the human effort. There is no disregard for what technology can bring in. There's equal respect for all of these things. And like how Ankush said, there has to be a perfect balance between the two. And how does the company achieve it? By knowing where, what amount of data, what amount of clean data, and how do you improve not just one, but both of them simultaneously. So that's where it actually lies for us. So, accurate need gap, getting to know where your services require the upgrade, an upgrade of both human as well as technology requirements for the business as time occurs.
Thank you. Absolutely. No one size fits everything, right? And it depends on industry to industry, organization to organization, and also uh, culture of an organization, I believe, in order to see what is the right proportion, and what kind of a human interaction is needed, and where AI is playing its role. So on that front, Shashwat, my question, we would like to understand, so there is a lot of data a particular organization is generating, right? And also with AI systems in place, a lot of data is coming from those places as well, right? How can we combine this AI generated data, the other sources of data, and the human insight in order to create a customer experience which is, not just efficient but also deeply resonate?
Okay. So I'll take back to an automobile example and then quickly go to healthcare as well, because that is what at least I represent. So in automobiles, there has been this 10-15 year dream of autonomous driving, right? Um, I think that's very attractive. That's why I will not talk about the great person who keeps talking about it. But I think in healthcare also, from a customer experience perspective, we would love to get, again, preventive, diagnosed, operated without a doctor. So how can it be so much non-invasive that I feel okay to being a patient? That's kind of conundrum, but still, we will, I think that is where we will go in 10, 20, 30 years. I don't know when, but it will get there. And some of the examples where this is already at play is, I'll take an example. So, for example, if I'm a patient, I will like to have a doctor next to me so that they can catch if I'm unwell. Let's say I've gone through a certain procedure and then I'm waiting, and I would love to have somebody in my bedside. Typically 30 years back it was my family member, but I would love to have a doctor so that they can look after me every time. Prohibitively expensive, and you will not find 20 doctors because you can get wrong anywhere. What is the alternative? You are talking about AI. You have systems which can look at your vitals, and you have already trained the model in the way your vitals are, which means it's customized towards your health needs. And what will happen is, and what is happening right now with all the nurse shortages that you have and graying population in Europe, it is a must have. You have to do. There is no other option. But a nurse looks after 20 patients, and they in the central control room are able to see when vitals are going to touch the control limits and then get to the patient. And more and more, I think, from data perspective, which data ingestion from all the data sources and electronic health records, which will become a norm, I'm sure, in India as well, we will get to a position very soon where I will be assured that I'm being watched. While I would love to have all the doctors, this is the most cost-effective way that it is possible. Similarly, when we are talking about a procedure, a lot of times nowadays what happens is this image-guided therapy, if you've heard of it. Essentially, there are thousands of clicks of images that are happening and image processing happening real time, which is going to catch what is happening inside you, right? So I think we are there. We may not realize it, but with all the advancements that has happened, we are really getting to a position where, of course, I would not love to be a patient, but it's much more relaxed than what it was in 10, 20 years back.
Good to know. Good to know all the procedures will be far easier, better, and more reliable in the coming future. Ankush, so typically in a GPT integration in any of the CX solutioning implementation that are happening across organization, I'm sure there are pitfalls, common mistakes people are making. Would like to understand some of those. What are those common mistakes which are happening? How to avoid those? And also, what innovations are on the offing? What is going to happen? Where do you see, GPTs 5, 6 moving to? Just your thoughts and view on that.
Yeah. So continuing on my previous thought about the natural way, the user experience. See, I'm sure few of people in the audience are from tech, if not all. See, when we talk about user experience, UI, UX, usually we see the design, right? It should look good. Color and the placement and alignment. And trust me, all the product managers and user experience designers, so let me not say we get enticed more towards the Western design, right? So if you see, we try to see, hey, how the Google is designed, we try to copy, say, hey, don't reinvent, see how the WhatsApp is created, try to copy that because it's already successful. See how Google, how Facebook. We try to match the successful products in our own products when we design. I think we have understood the UI UX is not about the aesthetic part of it, the looking good part of it. So we technologists have at least understood that. So now what we are now believing, the user experience is about ease, right? So it should be easy to use. The button should be easy, accessible with your thumb, and multiple aspects based on the device. So we now think user experience is about easy handling of a product. But again, I don't think that it's the right approach, because if we continue doing that, we'll continue seeing the low adoption of our products. See, we think technologies, think e-commerce. I keep giving this example, but very, very important. So we think e-commerce is already saturated when entrepreneurs or the budding startup owners, founders want to, when they try to come up with ideas, we think e-commerce is kind of saturated because of Flipkart, Amazon, and few other niche players. But I'm sure we all know the adoption of e-commerce, digital commerce is still less than 5% in India, right? So most of the commerce still happens in the physical means, brick and mortar stores. Maybe because what we thought the easy experience is not the easy experience. why my mother is still not switched to buying online, right? So why only we privileged people and probably the young people are finding it easy to use the existing tech products? So I think now we have to go beyond the easy, because we don't know what is the easy. I don't know what is the easy way or what is the right user experience. I think one is just go live and see if people start using your product and if you're getting more adoption, right? Maybe A/B testing. I think the third one, which we are trying with Core Over, is try to be as natural as possible, right? So, what is a natural way? It's meeting and talking. We could have done this. I'm sure whatever I'm speaking is there somewhere in the internet. You all would know it, but there is no one can replace the benefit of meeting face to face. We will never ever be forgetting this experience, right? Meeting face to face, and then probably the phone call, and then probably the text, then probably the clicks, what we are now think is the right way of building technology products. I think we have to again try to make even the products talking more visual experience. If not, see, I'm not saying continue the physical means, it's not scalable, right? We have to use technology, we have to use digital means, but try to learn from the physical world, and try to be, as natural as possible. Yeah, so I think my suggestion, if I have to give, is try to make the conversational experience. And I think maybe we are on the right track. We got 1.3 billion users who have used the virtual assistant created by us. Some of our clients are IRCTC, LIC, NPCI. So we give user experience layer on the existing technology, so which people are using it.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Elets, for this wonderful session. Yeah.